A millionaire woke up in bed with a bar girl after a wild party, and neither of them remembered anything. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now let us return to our main character. The city lights bled through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the penthouse hotel suite, flickering across a room that looked like a battlefield of broken memories. Empty glasses glinted on the marble floor. His jacket lay crumpled beside the bed. The faint throb of bass from a party several floors below vibrated through the walls. Adrian Hale stirred a dull ache pounding behind his eyes, his breath catching when something warm shifted against him. An arm, slender, bare, draped across his waist. His entire body tensed. He turned his head slowly, cautiously. A woman lay beside him, dark hair tangled over the silk pillow, mascara smudged, lipstick faded to a blurred stain. Her bare shoulder rose and fell with unsteady breaths. The sheet barely covered both of them. There was a faint scent of perfume he didn't recognize, mixed with spilled champagne and something metallic. He had no idea who she was. Adrian's heartbeat hammered in his ears. "What the hell?" he whispered. The woman stirred at the sound of his voice. Her eyes fluttered open wide, frightened, disoriented. She pushed herself back until she hit the headboard. "Who are you?" she gasped, voice trembling. I was about to ask you the same thing." Adrian ran a hand through his hair, his pulse charging with panic. He tried to summon a memory, any memory, but his mind was blank, like someone had sliced the last 12 hours clean out of his head. Before either could speak again, Adrian's phone lit up beside the bed. A video began playing automatically. He grabbed the phone, his breath stalling when he saw the screen. It was him, laughing, drunk or drugged, and leaning close to the same woman beside him. They were in a crowded bar, neon lights flashing across their faces, as if capturing a moment meant to destroy him. He watched himself whisper something into her ear. She smiled back. It didn't feel real. He had never seen her before in his life. The woman clutched a sheet around herself, shaking. "What is that? Did we do something?" "I don't know," Adrian muttered, jaw clenched. "I don't remember anything." He stood abruptly, ignoring the shooting pain in his skull, and scanned the room. 2 glasses smeared with fingerprints, a bottle of expensive whiskey he didn't recall ordering, makeup smudges on his collar, and on the nightstand something that froze him in place. A folded document. Adrian snatched it up, unfolding it with rising dread. A marriage license. His name, her name, Lana Reed, unsigned, but dated yesterday. The woman's eyes widened as she stared at it. "That's not mine. I don't even have a middle name." She shook her head violently. "Why would you think I would try to—" "I didn't say it was you," Adrian snapped, then steadied himself. "Someone left this here. Someone wants us to think—" He cut himself off. The truth sat heavy in the air. They had been set up. Lana wrapped her arms around herself, shivering. "Where did we even meet? I work at a bar, but I don't remember seeing you come in." Adrian frowned. "I was at a private party, but I didn't go to any bar." He paused, the fog in his head shifting. "At least, I don't think I did." The fear on Lana's face twisted into suspicion. "Did you drug me?" The accusation hit hard. "I don't drug people." "Then why can't I remember anything?" Her voice shook. "Why am I in a hotel bed with a man I've never seen?" Adrian opened his mouth, then shut it. He didn't have an answer. His phone buzzed again. An email. No subject, no sender. He opened it. A single sentence appeared on the screen. "You want the truth? Go back to where it started. You have 24 hours. Attached was a blurry still image from the bar, Adrian and Lana standing close together, his arm around her waist, her head resting on his shoulder. Lana stared at the photo face, draining of color. "I swear I don't remember that. I don't even drink tequila, and that's a tequila glass in my hand." Adrian exhaled slowly, fighting to control the rage building inside him. Someone had orchestrated this. Someone wanted leverage. Someone wanted him ruined. We need to leave, he said tightly. Now. Lana hugged herself. Where are we going? Adrian grabbed his jacket, checked his phone again, and met her eyes. To the bar, he said. Midnight Ember. Apparently that's where everything began. She hesitated, fear flickering behind her lashes. But she nodded. They stepped into the hallway, the hotel's pristine silence a stark contrast to the chaos they carried with them. As they reached the elevator, the screen of Adrian's phone lit again. One final message. I'm watching. Don't be late. Adrian's stomach twisted as the door slid shut. He didn't know who had done this or why, but one thing was clear. This wasn't a drunken mistake. It was a trap, and they were already in the middle of it. Lana sat on the cold edge of the bathroom counter, clutching the sink as she stared at her reflection. Smeared eyeliner, trembling lips, confusion and fear swirling in her eyes. The overhead light flickered, making her look even paler. Through the half-open door, Adrian paced the suite like a caged animal running a hand through his hair, for the 10th time, jaw tight with frustration and something dangerously close to panic. What happened to us? Lana whispered, more to herself than to him. Adrian stopped pacing and turned toward her voice. I don't know, he said, voice rough. But none of this is right. She stepped out slowly, the hotel robe dwarfing her frame. Tell me the truth. Did you touch me? Did something happen between us? His expression hardened. I already told you I don't remember anything, not a second, and neither do you. That's exactly what scares me. Lana snapped back, arms tightening around herself. People don't just forget whole nights unless something is very, very wrong. Adrian didn't deny it. The pounding in his head felt unnatural, as if someone had shoved cotton into his skull and stolen his memories along the way. He reached for the back of his neck, wincing when he felt a faint tenderness he couldn't explain. Let's check for marks, Lana said, suddenly, voice shaking. If someone did something to us, maybe our bodies can tell us what our minds can't. She handed him her phone. Record, she whispered. With the awkwardness of strangers forced into a nightmare together, Adrian held the camera while Lana turned her head to the side and lifted her hair. That was when they both froze. A dark, irregular bruise marred the skin just beneath her jaw, almost like a bite, but the pattern wasn't intimate. It was jagged, like someone had grabbed her too hard or clamped something onto her neck. That's not. Lana swallowed hard. That's not from kissing. No, Adrian said quietly. It's not. She hugged herself tighter, fighting tears. Someone else was with us. Before Adrian could respond, Lana snatched her phone back and opened her camera roll. Her fingers trembled as she swiped. There's almost nothing here, she whispered. It's all clean. Too clean. Then her thumb paused. An icon appeared, a hidden album. Locked with Face ID, she lifted the phone to her face and the album unlocked. Her breath hitched. Inside were exactly 32 photos, everyone taken between midnight and 2 a.m. the night before. And in the middle of the grid sat an image that felt like a punch to the chest. Adrian leaned closer. It was the two of them standing in front of a small white church. His arm was around her waist. Her fingers were curled lightly into his shirt. A neon wedding sign glowed behind them. We didn't do this, Adrian said sharply. I've never been there. Ever. I don't even go to church, Lana whispered, voice breaking. I don't remember this. I don't remember any of it. Their eyes met, a shared terror reflected between them. Every new discovery pushed them further from explanation and deeper into something orchestrated, something calculated. Lana sank onto the edge of the bed. What if someone tried to make us think we got married? Why? What would they gain? Adrian didn't answer. He was staring at his hands, as if searching for missing pieces of his own life. Let's trace the night, he said quietly. Start from what we do know. She nodded, breath unsteady. I was working my shift, a normal night. I remember serving drinks, laughing with my coworker. And then Adrian pressed gently, then nothing. She pressed her fingers to her temple. Just fog, like my mind fell through a hole. Adrian moved to the minibar, grabbing 2 glasses of water, handing one to her. Same with me. I was at a private event on the rooftop. I never left, at least I don't think I did. You think I dragged you into my mess? She asked suddenly, a voice as small, trembling. Adrian looked up, startled. No. Do you think I dragged you into mine? Silence. Neither trusted the other yet. neither could fully blame the other. They were standing on shifting ground with no memory of how they got there. The suite felt smaller by the second. "We need to get out of here," Adrian said. "If someone wants us to find certain photos, certain videos, they could want us to stay trapped here following their script." Lana nodded, though fear still shook her shoulders. "Okay, but where do we even start?" Adrian reached for his jacket. The bar, Midnight Ember. If the email said, "Go back to the beginning," that's where we find answers. They stepped into the hallway, Lana staying close behind him. She glanced over her shoulder every few seconds, as if expecting someone to jump out from the shadows. As they crossed the lobby, the front desk attendant called out hesitantly, "Monsieur Hale." Adrian paused. "Yes?" The attendant offered a polite but confused smile. "I hope the room changed at 2:13 a.m. "Worked out. You left in quite a rush." Lana turned pale. Adrian's blood ran cold. "I didn't change rooms last night." "Oh." The attendant blinked. "But you signed for it. You came down with someone." Adrian stared at him, pulse pounding. Who, before the attendant could answer, Adrian's phone buzzed in his hand. A new email, no sender. He opened it. "I see you. Don't be late this time." His jaw tightened. Lana stepped closer, voice barely above a whisper. "Adrian, what if we're not supposed to remember what happened?" He slid his phone into his pocket. "Then we're going to find the person who erased it." They stepped out into the rain-soaked street, the city humming around them, as if unaware that Adrian Hale and Lana Reed had just become pieces on someone else's board. The rain had stopped by the time Adrian pulled up outside Midnight Ember, but the air still carried the heavy metallic scent of a storm. The bar looked different in daylight, less glamorous, more unsettling. The neon sign flickered weakly, casting a sickly pink glow over the sidewalk. Lana stood beside him, arms wrapped around her ribs, gaze fixed on the entrance as if the building itself might swallow her. "I don't want to go back in there," she murmured. "I don't either," Adrian replied, "but we don't have a choice." He pushed open the door. The muffled hum of daytime cleaning filled the dim interior. Without flashing lights or pounding music, Midnight Ember felt exposed, its shadows too still, its corners too quiet. A manager in a crisp black shirt looked up from behind the bar, annoyance instantly flashing across his face. "We're not open yet," he called out. Adrian ignored him. "We need to see the security footage from last night." The manager's irritation deepened. "Not possible. System crashed. Lost everything from yesterday." Lana stiffened. "Convenient." The man shot her a glare. "I didn't ask you." Adrian stepped forward, voice calm but edged with steel. "Do you know who I am?" The manager paused, the realization flickering in his eyes. He swallowed. "I understand your concern, Mr. Hale, but the cameras really did fail. Then show me." He hesitated for a second too long. Adrian's stare hardened. "Now." Reluctantly, the manager led them through a narrow hallway into the security room. A wall of monitors buzzed quietly. Footage from the previous day blinked and juddered, then went black for a full 40 minutes. When the feed returned, it showed only the empty dance floor tables, half-cleaned stray napkins on the floor. "This is all we recovered," the manager insisted. Adrian leaned closer to the screens. "Play the exterior camera." The manager clicked through. A grainy image appeared the street outside the bar. There, at 1:47 a.m., two figures stumbled out. Adrian and Lana. Lana's arm was looped through Adrian, supporting him as he swayed. Her head snapped over her shoulder every few seconds, like she was afraid someone was behind them. Because someone was. A third shape lingered in the far left corner of the frame, tall, unmoving face hidden under a cap. When Adrian and Lana stepped into the street, the shadow figure took one slow step forward. Lana's breath caught. That's him. Adrian's heart hammered. The same man from the hotel footage. The manager visibly shifted. "Look, people follow each other out of bars all the time. This isn't following." Adrian's tone sliced through the room. "That man was hunting us." The manager avoided his gaze. "Who is he?" Adrian pressed. "I don't know," the manager muttered, "but I saw him here a couple times. Never ordered anything, just watched." A soft voice spoke behind them. "Mira." Everyone turned. A bartender wiping down a tray stared at Lana like he had seen a ghost. Lana's lips parted. "My name isn't Mira." "It was." The bartender stepped closer, eyes shining with disbelief. "You worked here. 2 years ago, you just disappeared, without warning." Lana backing up, shaking her head. "No, you're mistaken. I'm not." His gaze dropped to her wrist. "You used to wear a bracelet, silver, with little stars on it." Lana froze. Adrian looked sharply at her, then back at the bartender. "Why did she disappear?" The man swallowed. There was an incident. A loud fight in the back room. Someone screamed. When the police came, Mira was gone, and so was that guy with the bird tattoo. Lana went rigid. Adrian stepped forward, voice low. "What guy?" The bartender lowered his voice to a tremble. A tall man, cold eyes, big tattoo of a hawk or something on his neck. Creepy bastard. It was the man from the footage, the man Lana had described in fragments of memory. The manager suddenly barked. "That's enough. You've said more than you should." The bartender flinched, but his eyes darted to Adrian. "I want to help, but I shouldn't talk here. It's not safe." Adrian's pulse quickened. "Then where?" The man hesitated, glanced at Lana with something like pity, then whispered, "Check your phone. I'll message you." Adrian's phone vibrated the moment they stepped back into the bar's main room. "Unknown number. One sentence. They're watching you. Leave now." Adrian's gaze shot to the windows. A black SUV was parked across the street. Engine running. Windows tinted. Lana's grip tightened on Adrian's sleeve. "He's here." Before Adrian could move, the SUV's engine roared, and the vehicle sped off, tires screeching against wet asphalt. Adrian turned to Lana, adrenaline spiking. "Someone is following our every step." Her voice broke. "I told you." He never stopped. They hurried out to the car. As Adrian reached for the door handle, his phone buzzed again. A second message from the unknown number. "Don't trust what she remembers." Mira wasn't just a victim. Ask her why she really disappeared. Lana stared at Adrian, pale and trembling. "I don't know who's lying," Adrian said quietly, "but I'm going to find out." They drove away from Midnight Ember in tense silence, the bar shrinking in the rearview mirror, but the secrets inside it only growing larger. Adrian drove Lana straight to the private clinic inside Hale Tower, the silence between them thick enough to choke on. Lana kept her face turned toward the window, but he could see her hands trembling in her lap. The moment they stepped inside, a team of medical staff ushered them into a discreet examination room reserved for executives. The lights were too bright, too sterile, exposing every bruise, every tremor, every unanswered question. Lana perched on the edge of the exam table like a frightened animal, pulling the sleeves of her borrowed sweater over her knuckles. Adrian stood near the door, restless, his jaw tight, as the doctor drew their blood. "Memory gaps," the doctor murmured as he wrote notes. "Disorientation, sudden fatigue. Sounds like drug exposure." Lana's breath hitched. "So we weren't imagining it." "No," the doctor said gently. "Someone did this intentionally. After a final vial was taken, he excused himself to run toxicology." Adrian exhaled and rubbed the bridge of his nose. "Lana, don't," she whispered. "I don't know if I can take one more thing going wrong today." Before he could respond, there was a knock. "Mr. Hale," the doctor said, voice lower now. "I need a private word." Adrian glanced at Lana. She nodded weakly. He stepped into the hallway. The doctor closed the door behind them. "Both of you were drugged. GHB and midazolam. Someone planned this." Carefully, Adrian felt the room tilt. "How much? For you, a very high dose. 3, maybe 4 times stronger than what was given to her." Adrian froze. "Someone wanted you incapacitated," the doctor continued. "But she was given just enough to cause confusion, not enough to stop her from moving." His stomach dropped. "So she could have what walked me out, led me somewhere, or been forced to," the doctor said quietly. "But yes, she was functional. You weren't." The words hit with brutal precision. As if sensing the implication, the doctor added, "This wasn't recreational, this was strategic." Adrian nodded stiffly and re-entered the room. Lana looked up instantly, sensing the shift. "What did he say?" Adrian hesitated. "We were drugged." She swallowed. "I figured." And they gave me more. A lot more. Her expression crumpled. So you think I didn't say that, but you're thinking it. Her voice cracked. I wouldn't hurt you. I wouldn't hurt anyone. Adrian watched her for a long moment. She looked devastated, not deceptive, but he couldn't ignore the facts, not yet. Before either of them could speak further, Adrian's phone vibrated. Cole, Adrian answered. Tell me you found something. I did, Cole said. The SUV that tailed, Usain plate registered to a shell company tied to Jonas Black. Adrian's blood ran cold. Jonas, that's not the only thing. I checked your car's GPS. Last night at 2:25 a.m., your vehicle stopped at a motel on Crosswind Road. 15 minutes. Back door opened, closed. Then the car kept going. Adrian stared at the floor. I don't remember any of that. You wouldn't, Cole said. Someone wiped you clean. Lana's eyes widened as she listened. Adrian lowered the phone. Cole tracked where we were last night, and Lana whispered, Motel, 15 minutes, no cameras. Lana shook her head. I don't remember being there. You remember anything at all? He pressed. She shook her head again, but her hand went to her throat as if some buried instinct fought to surface. Before Adrian could push further, Cole walked into the clinic room, tablet in hand. You need to see this, he said. He tapped the screen. A blurry traffic cam image appeared grainy but unmistakable. A man, tall, broad shoulders, black jacket, and on the left side of his neck curling upward like wings, a tattoo of an eagle. Lana gasped and backed against the wall, hand over her mouth. No, 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 no. Adrian looked at her sharply. You know him. Lana trembled so violently she nearly slid down the wall. He wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to find me. Adrian stepped closer. Who is he? Her voice cracked into a whisper. Cade Rowan. Cole's jaw tightened. Jonas Black's personal enforcer. Adrian felt something cold settle in his chest. Why was he following us, Lana? He asked. Tears filled her eyes. Because he's been looking for me for 2 years. She finally broke. Words poured out in ragged pieces. I ran from him, from all of them. They hurt people. They hurt girls. I barely got out alive. Adrian stared at her, the dots connecting faster than he could process. Cade works for Jonas, Cole said grimly. And if he wants her back this badly, it's not because she's just a witness. Lana's nails dug into her palms. Jonas won't stop, not until he gets what I took. Adrian's heart thudded. What did you take? She shook her head, tears streaking down. I don't remember. I swear, Adrian. I don't remember. Cole's tablet buzzed with another alert. He tapped it and swore under his breath. The entire camera system at Midnight Ember. It was hacked, all 40 minutes erased from a remote source, and the source Adrian asked. Cole turned the screen. Another image. Cade Rowan looking directly into a bar camera before it went dark, smiling like he knew exactly who was watching. Lana collapsed into a chair sobbing. Adrian clenched his fists. This was no accident, no drunken mistake. They were being hunted. He looked from Cole to Lana, a fire starting in his chest. We're not running anymore, he said quietly. We find out what Jonas wants, and we stop him. But even as he said it, his phone buzzed again. A text, no number, just a sentence that made his blood freeze. You're getting closer. Be careful what you dig up. Some secrets were meant to stay buried. Adrian lifted his gaze to Lana. Whatever they were caught in it had only just begun. Adrian pulled into the cracked parking lot of the Crosswind Motel, the engine rumbling to a stop beneath a flickering street lamp. The building loomed before them, peeling paint, rusted railings, broken letters on the neon sign. It looked like the kind of place people vanished in, not slept in. Lana stared at it in frozen terror, her fingers digging into the seatbelt. I've been here before, she whispered. Adrian glanced at her sharply. Last night or before that, I don't know. Her breath hitched, but something bad happened here. He didn't push. Instead, he stepped out and circled the car, opening her door. The moment her feet touched the pavement, Lana flinched like the ground itself remembered her. Inside the motel office, a tired-looking clerk barely glanced up. We don't rent by the hour, he grunted. Adrian leaned over the desk. We're not here for a room. We need footage from your security cameras. The man scoffed. Cameras? Those things die more often than they work. Then show me what you have, Adrian said, voice tightening. The clerk rolled his eyes but clicked into the system anyway. Static, glitching frames, a few working angles, finally footage from last night. At 2:25 a.m., a black SUV pulled into view. Adrian and Lana stepped out, but the scene was wrong. Adrian leaned heavily against her, barely able to stand. Lana, though shaken, was alert, constantly glancing over her shoulder. The clerk frowned. Didn't know the cameras caught anything last night. Play the hallway, Adrian ordered. The clerk clicked another angle. A grainy, stuttering video loaded lights, flickering motion blur, warping every movement. Adrian and Lana hurried through the hall. She dragged him toward the door. He slumped against the wall, gasping like the air itself was fighting him. Then Lana in the video looked back, eyes wide with fear, and whispered something the camera barely picked up. He followed us. She wasn't talking about Adrian. The clerk snorted. We get creeps sometimes. But Lana's hand flew to her mouth. Her whole body started trembling. There, she choked out. Look! At the far end of the hallway, a figure emerged from the darkness. Tall, broad shoulders, black jacket, the outline of a tattoo slashed up the side of his neck. The man didn't rush. He walked toward them with a slow, chilling confidence, like he knew they couldn't escape. Adrian's pulse pounded. Pause it. The shadowy face froze on screen, unrecognizable, but unmistakably predatory. Lana backed away from the monitor, shaking violently. I told you, he found me. Adrian moved toward her. You said he had a tattoo. Is that? Yes, she whispered. That's him. That's Cade Rowan. She wrapped her arms around herself, eyes distant as if pulled backward into a memory she couldn't stop. We need to see the next part, Adrian said quietly. But the footage cut out, screen black. What happened? Adrian demanded. Power outage, the clerk said. Whole block went dark. Adrian's stomach dropped. That wasn't coincidence. He pulled Lana outside, the air sharp against his skin. Tell me everything you remember about him. She shook her head. I don't remember it all. Try. Her breathing stuttered. Then slowly, he worked for Jonas. He recruited girls, promised money, safety, fame. But it was all a lie. Once you were inside the club, you didn't leave. She swallowed hard, eyes darting around as if Cade might step from the shadows again. 2 years ago, I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. What Adrian pressed. Lana's voice trembled. A girl she tried to run. Cade dragged her back. She was screaming. And then she stopped. Adrian felt cold to his core. I ran, she whispered. I ran and didn't stop. But Jonas didn't want the police involved, so he erased everything. My name, my job, my existence. And Cade, he's been looking for me ever since. Adrian stared toward the road, jaw clenched. And last night Jonas decided to use you to get to me. Lana's hands tightened. There's more. Something else happened before I ran, something I can't remember, something big. Before he could dig further, Adrian's phone buzzed. Cole. You need to hear this, Cole said when Adrian answered. The deep scan you requested, I pulled every leftover fragment from your car's security system. You weren't the only two in the back seat last night. Adrian's heart sank. Who else? Cole hesitated. A man with a tattoo on his neck. Matches Cade Rowan. Lana's knees nearly buckled. Cole, Adrian said, voice low, tell me there's more. There is, Cole said grimly. He wasn't just following you. He got into the car. Lana covered her mouth to stifle a sob. Adrian swallowed hard. Send me the file. I can't, Cole replied. The moment I tried exporting it, the footage wiped itself. Someone knew I was watching. A slow dread spread through Adrian's chest. Adrian Cole added, This guy that doesn't just erase evidence, he erases people. Lana whispered, He'll come for me again. Not if I get to him first, Adrian said. But even as the promise left his lips, a low ding chimed from his phone. Another anonymous message. Nice try. You won't piece the night together. Not if she stays alive. Lana's breath caught. Adrian tightened his grip on the phone. Whoever had orchestrated last night was watching them, still pulling strings, and they were far from done. He took Lana's hand and led her back toward the car. We're going to find out everything, he said quietly, no matter what they're hiding. But in the shadows near the motel sign, a shape shifted. Someone had been listening, someone who wasn't ready to let them go. Adrian sprinted down the narrow alley behind the motel, breath sharp in his chest shoes splashing through puddles left by the earlier rain. "Lana," he shouted, scanning every shadow. A faint rustling answered him from behind a stack of discarded pallets. He hurried toward the sound. Lana crouched there, knees pulled to her chest, shaking uncontrollably. Her eyes were wild, unfocused, her breathing ragged. "He's here," she whispered. "I saw him. He was standing right there." Adrian dropped to a knee beside her. The alley was empty now, eerily still. "Lana, it's okay. I've got you." "No," she said, clutching his sleeve. "You don't understand. He followed me for years. He never stopped." He helped her to her feet, guiding her back toward the car. She limped slightly, still glancing behind them with every step. Her fear wasn't simple panic. It was history clawing its way back through her memories. Inside the car, the doors locked automatically, cocooning them in silence. Lana hugged her arms tight around herself. "Tell me what happened," Adrian said softly. She stared ahead, jaw trembling. "My name isn't Lana." A pause. "It's Mirabelle Carter." The name hung between them like a confession. "I was a med student," she continued quietly. "I worked part-time tending bar at a place that looked glamorous from the outside. But it wasn't a bar. It was a funnel. Girls went in because they needed money, and then they couldn't get out." Adrian listened without interrupting. Cade Rowan was one of the men in charge. He followed girls, scouted them, collected them. Her voice cracked. And if anyone tried to leave, he handled it. Images she had buried years ago flickered across her face like ghosts. One night a girl I knew tried to run. I heard her screaming. Lana's hands trembled violently. When I found her, she wasn't moving. Cade dragged her away like trash. Adrian felt his stomach twist. "I knew I had to escape, so I ran," she whispered. "I ran until everything blurred. I changed my name. I hid, but he kept looking for me, and now he's here." Adrian's phone buzzed. Cole again. "We got the report," Cole said when Adrian picked up. "I checked her name, Mirabelle Carter. She really did go missing 2 years ago. Her family filed a report, but the case stalled." "Stalled," Adrian repeated. "Because someone with serious influence pushed it off the record." "Jonas," Adrian said grimly. "Exactly," Cole answered. "Jonas Black is tied to half a dozen shady private clubs. We don't have proof he runs them, but his name keeps showing up in the background." Adrian ended the call and turned to Lana. "You weren't just in the wrong place," he said. "You were running from Jonas's operation." Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't want to involve you, I swear. But they won't let me go." "There's more," Adrian pressed gently. "Earlier you said you took something Jonas wants." Lana shut her eyes, leaning back in the seat. "I don't remember everything, but before I escaped, Jonas showed Cade a laptop. They were arguing about some list, some client list, the kind of thing that could destroy Jonas." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I think I copied a file from that laptop before I ran." Adrian stared at her. "You stole evidence I didn't mean to. I just panicked. I grabbed whatever I thought might protect me." She swallowed thickly. "The problem is I never checked where I hid it. I woke up the next day with a concussion. Most of those memories are gone." "So Jonas thinks you still have the file," Adrian said. "And he'll kill to get it back," Lana whispered. Before Adrian could respond, Cole slipped into the car through the passenger door. Face grim. "I ran another search," he said. "There's more you need to see." He handed Adrian his tablet. The screen displayed a log of the motel's security access. One entry blinked red, timestamp 3:02 a.m. "Cade broke into the surveillance room last night," Cole said. "Someone used a master access keycard registered to a private contractor working for Jonas. They wiped everything," Adrian murmured. "They wanted no trace of Cade's presence," Cole said. "Or what he did." Lana's voice was barely audible. "He was in the hallway with us. He grabbed me before we made it into the room." Her breath hitched. "Adrian, he said something last night." Adrian leaned closer. "What did he say?" Lana trembled. "He told me Jonas knew I was still alive. that Jonas was angry I took something from him, and that, the next time he caught me, I wouldn't run again. A chill slid through Adrian's spine. "Why didn't you tell me this earlier?" he asked, because she whispered, eyes filling. "I thought if you knew everything, you'd leave me behind." He reached for her hand before she could pull away. "I'm not leaving," he said quietly. "Whatever this is, whatever Jonas wants, you're not facing it alone." Her breath shuddered as she squeezed his hand back. Cole cleared his throat. "We need to assume Jonas knows about your investigation, and he's not going to stop. We should move her to the safe house." Lana's reaction was immediate, a surge of panic. "No, safe houses aren't safe. Jonas has people everywhere, lawyers, cops, security. You don't know how far he reaches." "She's right," Adrian said. "Jonas isn't just after the file. He's after control." As if summoned by their fear, Adrian's phone buzzed again. A new message. "Unknown sender. Stop digging. You won't like what you find next." Adrian's jaw tightened. He looked from the message to Lana, to Cole. The truth was no longer hiding in the dark. It was coming for them. The elevator doors slid shut behind them as Adrian guided Lana into his penthouse, Cole following close with 2 members of the private security team. Every lock clicked into place. Every window sensor blinked active. Yet none of it eased the tension clinging to the air. Lana stood near the wall like someone expecting it to collapse. Adrian watched her carefully, her breathing shallow, her hands trembling, her gaze darting toward every shadow. Cole cleared his throat. "We need to talk. Jonas Black isn't just involved. He's orchestrating this." Adrian crossed his arms. "Tell me everything." Cole set a dossier on the marble counter. "Jonas has ties to underground private clubs in 3 states. None of it is on paper, but money trails don't lie." He opened the file to show wire transfers, encrypted messages, photos of masked events. Lana flinched. "This is what he used to hide everything. And Cade Rowan is at the center of it," Cole said. "Former military contractor, perfect background for disappearing girls who wanted out." Adrian's jaw tightened. "So Jonas funded the operation. Cade ran the groundwork." "Yes." Cole locked eyes with him. "And if Cade followed you last night, it wasn't because of you. It was because of her." Lana shrank back. "I didn't mean to drag anyone into this." "You didn't," Adrian said firmly. "They did." Before she could respond, Adrian's phone buzzed with a voicemail. Alert. He played it on speaker. A low voice whispered, "If you want the truth, meet me. Tonight. B1 parking garage under midnight ember. Alone." Lana's face drained. "We can't go back there." Cole nodded. "This is almost definitely a trap." "Everything's been a trap," Adrian said, "but we don't have another lead." Cole sighed. "If you're going, we're following from a distance. I'll prep the team." An hour later, Adrian stood in the dim, echoing basement garage beneath midnight ember. The fluorescent lights flickered, casting long shadows across the empty concrete. He moved slowly, alert. Footsteps echoed behind one of the pillars. A man emerged, thin, nervous eyes darting. The bartender from earlier. Adrian lowered his guard just slightly. "You messaged me." "Yeah." The bartender swallowed hard. "I shouldn't be here. Jonas has people everywhere. But there's something you need to know. Talk." The man wiped sweat from his brow. "Your girlfriend Lana. She's not my girlfriend. Mira, whatever her name is." He lowered his voice. "She didn't just run from Jonas. She took something he needs." Adrian's pulse quickened. The file. The file is everything," the bartender whispered. "Client lists, payments, locations. If it goes public, Jonas is finished. What does that have to do with last night?" "You two didn't come here for fun," the bartender said. "Someone brought you in. Someone staged it. Someone wanted you both destroyed." Adrian stepped closer. "Why me? Because Jonas can't buy your project. Not while you're clean." The bartender's eyes flicked nervously toward the stairwell. "But if there's a scandal?" "He gets everything." The parking garage filled with a distant hum, a low, vibrating sound that made Adrian's gut twist. The bartender's eyes widened. "He's here." "I shouldn't have." A gunshot cracked through the air. The bartender collapsed before he could finish the sentence. Adrian dove behind a pillar as another shot ricocheted against concrete. A figure stepped out from the shadows, broad, silent, terrifyingly calm. Cade Rowan. His neck tattoo glinted under the fluorescent light, the eagle's wings curling wickedly along his skin. "You should have stayed out of this, Hale," he said, voice cold. Adrian stood his ground. "Where is Lana?" Cade smirked. "You think I'd tell you?" Cole's voice suddenly echoed from the stairwell. Adrian down, gunfire erupted. Cole's team spilled into the garage, bullets ringing off metal pillars. Cade lunged sideways with inhuman speed, disappearing behind a support beam. Adrian caught a glimpse of him sprinting toward a side exit. "Go," Cole shouted. "We'll cover you." Adrian chased Cade through the dim corridor behind the garage, adrenaline burning through every nerve. He turned the corner and stopped. The corridor was empty. Cade was gone. When Adrian returned, Cole knelt beside the bartender's body. Face grim, he didn't make it. Adrian stared at the blood pooling across the concrete, jaw clenched. We were seconds too late. Cole placed a hand on his shoulder. He said Jonas wanted the file, and wanted you out of the way. Adrian nodded, fury simmering. Then we find the file before Jonas does. When they returned to the penthouse, Lana rushed toward Adrian the second he walked through the door. "Where were you?" I thought. She stopped when she saw the blood on his sleeve. "What happened?" "Cade happened," Adrian said. "And the bartender who recognized you? He's dead." Lana's knees buckled. Adrian caught her before she fell. "I never wanted this," she whispered. "I never wanted you to get hurt." "What did you take from Jonah?" Adrian asked, voice low. Lana hesitated, tears streaking her cheeks. "A file. I copied it from his laptop the night I escaped. I thought it might save me one day." "Where is it?" Cole asked. "I don't know." Lana shook her head hard. "I don't know where I hid it. I don't remember." Adrian exhaled shakily. "Then we find it together." Before anyone could speak again, Adrian's laptop, left open on the counter, buzzed. The screen flashed with an incoming message. A single sentence appeared typed in real time. "The file isn't lost. It's in your home." Below the text, a live video feed flickered onto the screen. Cade Rowan stood on a rooftop across the street, staring into the camera, the city lights reflecting off his cold grin. Lana gasped and moved closer to Adrian. He wrapped an arm around her eyes, locked on the screen. The game was no longer hidden. It had come straight to their doorstep. Security swept every corner of the penthouse, but no matter how many hidden devices they found, Lana still stood in the center of the room, as if the walls themselves were watching her. Adrian watched her pace small, tight steps like someone waiting for a trap to spring beneath her feet. Cole finished removing the last micro camera from a decorative light fixture and held it up grimly. "He's been monitoring you for days," Cole said. "Maybe longer." Lana's breath caught. "There's nowhere safe. He'll always find me, not if we hit him first," Adrian replied. "We go on the offensive. We make Jonas the one running." He sat at the table, pulling out the encrypted USB from the bartender, the one clue they had left. "If we expose this, Jonas loses leverage." Cole shook his head. "He'll retaliate." "I'm counting on that," Adrian said. He uploaded the files to his contact in investigative media, a veteran reporter known for taking down billion-dollar schemes. Within minutes, the man called back. "Adrian, this is explosive," the reporter said. "These wire transfers link Jonas to operations in 3 states. If I publish tonight, he's done." "Publish," Adrian said, "before he buries us first." 5 minutes after the article went live, social media erupted. News outlets blasted the headline across every feed, and Jonas struck back immediately. A new video appeared online, Adrian dragging Lana into the Crosswind Motel hallway, her tear-streaked face, his hand on her arm, his body blocking the camera. Except none of it happened. Lana stared at the screen, shaking violently. This isn't real. Adrian, I don't remember this. Did you? No, Adrian said firmly, grabbing her shoulders. That's not me. It's a deep fake. But it looks like, she broke off, horrified. That's the point, Cole said. Jonas wants you confused, wants him doubting himself, wants the world to think he's a monster. Another headline flashed on the TV. Billionaire Adrian Hale accused in disturbing motel footage merger board, suspends Hale pending investigation. Adrian exhaled slowly, fury simmering just beneath the surface. He's trying to destroy everything at once. And he's succeeding, Cole muttered. Investors are pulling out. Lana stepped back, trembling. I shouldn't be here. I'm ruining your life. Adrian turned to her sharply. You didn't create this. He did. The room shook slightly. No, not the room. The sharp impact of a vehicle hitting something outside. Cole rushed to the balcony, peeking through the blinds. It's starting, he said. Move. We're leaving. They hurried through the garage toward a convoy of black security SUVs. Cole opened the back door, guiding Lana inside. Adrian slid in next to her, the engine already growling beneath them. We're getting you to the safe house, Cole said from the passenger seat. No, Lana whispered. Safe houses are how Jonas keeps people cornered. He has contacts everywhere. Cole paused. She's right about that. We'll figure it out, Adrian said. We just need to buy ourselves enough. A blinding pair of headlights cut across the lane. Look out, the driver shouted. A truck slammed into the first SUV, flipping it sideways in a spray of shattered glass. The convoy split, engines roaring. Their vehicle fishtailed, then corrected as the driver swerved hard. Adrian shielded Lana with his body. Stay down, from the smoke ahead. A figure stepped into the middle of the road, tall, broad, too calm for someone in the path of speeding vehicles. Cade Rowan. He raised an automatic baton, smashing it down on the hood as the SUV screeched to a halt. Cole yanked the door open, barking orders as security agents spilled out. Cade moved like a phantom, landing brutal, precise blows. One guard went down, another stumbled back, groaning. Adrian shoved his door open. Lana, stay in the car, too late. Cade had ripped her door off its hinges. There you are, Cade growled, grabbing her wrist. Mirabelle, Jonas wants his property back. Let her go. Adrian lunged, slamming Cade into the side of the truck. Cade's fist crushed into Adrian's ribs, sending him sprawling. You really think you can protect her? Cade sneered. She stole from him. She stole the truth, Adrian spat. Cade dragged Lana backward, using her as a shield when Cole raised his gun. Nobody move, Cade warned. She comes with me. Lana was sobbing, clawing at his hand. Adrian, please, let her go. Adrian took a step forward, even as Cole hissed for him to stop. That was when Cade leaned close to Adrian, voice dripping poison. You think she's innocent? She took the file first. She betrayed Jonas. She lied to you. Adrian faltered just for a fraction of a second. Don't listen to him, Lana cried. He's twisting everything. Cade yanked her toward the waiting black van. Cole fired. The bullet hit Cade in the shoulder. He roared, but didn't fall. Instead, he shoved Lana inside the van, slammed the door, and jumped into the passenger seat as it screeched forward. No, Adrian sprinted after it, but the tires shrieked and the van shot into the night. His phone buzzed almost instantly. A message from an unknown number. She's alive. For now. 10 a.m. tomorrow. Come alone. Adrian stood in the middle of the road, chest heaving, glass glittering around him like broken stars. Cole walked up beside him, face pale. We'll get her back, Cole said. We'll hit Jonas hard. Adrian stared into the darkness where the van had vanished. No, he said quietly. Tomorrow I face him myself. The night swallowed the words whole. The abandoned warehouse sat at the edge of the harbor metal siding, rattling in the wind, waves crashing against the docks like a countdown. Adrian stepped out of the car, alone exactly as instructed. The morning sky was gray, heavy, reflecting the weight in his chest. He walked across the oil-stained concrete, hands raised slightly, not out of surrender but readiness. A voice echoed from inside. In here, Hale. Adrian followed the sound. The warehouse interior was dim lit only by slivers of sunlight slicing through broken windows. Jonas Black stood near a stack of crates, suit immaculate, expression cold. And behind him, bound to a chair, wrists zip-tied tape across her mouth, was Lana. Her eyes widened when she saw Adrian. You're early, Jonas said. I expected you'd send your guard dog in first. You said come alone, Adrian replied. Jonas smirked. And you listened. That's what makes you predictable. Adrian took a step forward. Let her go. That depends. Jonas nodded to the far corner. Heavy footsteps echoed as Cade Rowan emerged from the shadows, shoulder bandaged, one arm still slick with dried blood. Even injured, the man radiated danger. Jonas continued. Where's the file she stole from me? You think I have it? Adrian asked. You overestimate your own importance. Jonas's smile sharpened. You wouldn't be here otherwise. Adrian kept his gaze locked on Lana. She shook her head vigorously, trying to warn him, though he didn't know about what. Bring him, Jonas ordered. Cade moved toward Adrian, but Adrian lifted his hand. Touch me and I swear I'll make you regret it. Cade stopped amused. You can try. Jonas rolled his eyes. Enough. Where's the file? Adrian stayed silent. Jonas lifted a small, serrated tool and twirled it between his fingers. If you won't speak, she will. Lana struggled violently against the restraint's eyes filling with panic. You want the file, Adrian said. Then listen closely. Jonas leaned forward. You're looking in the wrong place. Before Jonas could respond, a voice echoed from the far entrance. No, Cole called out. You are. Armed tactical agents burst into the warehouse, weapons drawn. Jonas spun around, shock flashing across his face. Cade reached for Lana, but a warning shot ricocheted off a metal beam above his head, forcing him to freeze. Jonas Black, one agent shouted, step away from the hostage and put your hands where I can see them. Jonas snarled. You idiot. You brought the FBI. Adrian kept his eyes on him. You made the mistake of sending a deepfake of me to the entire country. And you didn't expect a federal review. You gave them the leverage they needed. Lies, Jonas spat. Adrian took a step closer. The file you wanted, it wasn't lost. It wasn't hidden. Lana didn't swallow it. It wasn't on a laptop. He pointed at Lana's chest. It was in her necklace, the one she wore every day, the one you never bothered to check. Jonas blinked, confusion slashing across his features. Cade lunged to grab Lana's pendant, but 3 agents tackled him to the ground. One agent approached Jonas. You're under arrest for conspiracy, trafficking, abduction, fraud, obstruction of justice. But Jonas wasn't listening. He stared at Adrian with pure venom. You think you've won, Adrian answered softly. I didn't win. You lost. Jonas tried to bolt for the back exit, but 2 agents cut him off, slamming him face first into the concrete. Handcuffs clicked. Lana sagged with relief as Cole rushed over to cut the zip ties around her wrists. Adrian knelt beside her, peeling away the tape on her mouth. Her breath trembled as she leaned into him. You came, she whispered. I told you, he said, brushing her hair back. You're not alone anymore. Cade and Jonas were dragged outside, shouting curses that the ocean wind swallowed. Within minutes, the area was secured and the agents dispersed, leaving only the distant sirens and the slap of waves against the docks. Lana leaned against Adrian, exhausted. Is it over? It's over, he said. It's really over. But she shook her head. Not for the other girls. Not for the ones who never escaped. Adrian nodded. Then we make sure what we uncovered is enough to free them too. He slipped the broken pendant into her hand. This started because you were brave, he said. It ends the same way. Months passed. The file from Lana's necklace exposed Jonas's entire operation. Over 20 missing women were found and rescued. Headlines shifted from allegations to justice. Adrian regained control of his company and doubled its security protocols. Lana began counseling survivors, using her voice for those who couldn't speak yet. Together they launched the Second Dawn Foundation, dedicated to stopping the very world she escaped. At the first public fundraiser, Lana stood beside Adrian, fingers intertwined. We survived, she whispered. We rebuilt, he corrected gently. They both smiled. And we're not done. As the crowd applauded, Lana looked into the camera broadcasting the event and spoke with quiet strength. Thank you for sharing this journey with us. If this story touched you, I hope you'll let us know in the comments. Tell us what part stayed with you. And if you want to see more stories about courage, healing, and second chances, you're always welcome to stay with us. Please like this video and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. She glanced at Adrian, eyes soft. Sometimes the darkest nights lead us exactly where we're meant to be. The lights dimmed, the screen faded to black, and their story finally came to rest.